First, we'll start with zero pairs. You have one positive and one negative. When they come together, they make what we call a zero pair, and they equal 0. It doesn't matter how many positives you have. If they have a matching negative value, then when you combine them, they make individual zero pairs. So 3 positives and 3 negatives will turn into a 0. So if we try adding and subtracting with counters, we'll start with 3 plus 5. That's an easy one. We clearly see that that's 8. But if we add in a negative to this situation, and we'll start with a problem that is pretty simple, 3 plus negative 5. We'll start with 3 positives. We'll just add in 5 negatives. What we're looking for are pairs that we can match to make zeros. So it looks like we have 3 zero pairs. Once we combine those, it's really easy to see whatever's left over. So those 3 zero pairs are eliminated, and what we have left over are the 2 negatives. If we start with 6 negatives this time, we'll go through the same process. We need to add 2 positives, so we'll go ahead and add 2 positive counters. When we do that, we're again looking for zero pairs, so we can clearly see that there are 2 zero pairs. When we neutralize those, when they cancel each other out, we are left with 4 negatives. Now, when we shift over to subtraction, we have to think about it a little bit differently because, again, subtraction means we're taking away something. So if we start with 6 positives and we want to take away 2 positives, really easily we just cross those out and we can clearly see that we're left with 4 positives. But when we bring in the negatives, it shifts a little bit. So we'll start off with 6 negatives and we want to take away 2 positives. The issue we have here is we don't have any positives. So how can we bring positives into the situation without changing the value? And the only way we can do that is by bringing in zero pairs. So we need to take away 2 positives. So we need to bring in as many zero pairs as we need to until we can see 2 positives, which means we need 2 zero pairs. When we bring those in, we have 2 positives. When we open those up, we can clearly see we can take away those 2 positives. When you have -6 minus 2 positives, the leftover is -8. So let's try another one. Let's try a -3 minus a -4. So we'll start off this time with -3, and again, we have to think we need to take away 4 negatives, but we don't have 4 negatives. So how many zero pairs would I need to include here in order to be able to remove 4 negatives? Well, I already have 3, so really I only need 1 more negative to be able to take away 4 negatives. So I only need 1 zero pair. Once I open the zero pair up, I can clearly see there are my 4 negatives. Once I cross those out to remove them or subtract them, it reveals what's left over, which is my 1 positive.